Bonjour mes amis, je suis Madame Martin. Je suis ici avec un teacher hack. For those of you who are finding yourselves in a new teaching environment where you have either less space in your classroom or you are at home and creating a teaching space, a classroom, virtual classroom at home, or for those of you who are at home with your students or students yourselves, looking for space savers and time savers and just something that can help you be a better you in the classroom, whatever your function is. As a traveling teacher, I did not have a classroom, so I know all about having to save space, make it very usable, multi-purpose, and recycle. So what I'm going to show you, my teacher hack that I used for decades, and of course improved upon. It was always nice having a cart. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I traveled between schools. So I had to have a sac or boîte. As I got halfway through my career, I found these wonderful boîte, a nice little box that was pretty sturdy for when I needed it. And then it could hold, because I taught French and Spanish and a little bit of Russian here and there for some after school programs. I had a binder, a little reading binder for my schedules or my handouts for the day, or just some my lesson plans, anything I needed. Voila. Or I had some fun things for the students. This is great. You can pick it up at any teaching store or even in any of your multi-purpose stores, super centers. It comes with the little eraser, whiteboard paddle. It's great, and a little dry erase marker. So that makes it very convenient, and all sticks in here. And then for me, of course, because I talked about people, la culture, and these were great. You could, the kids, I laminated them. They can come laminated, I believe, as well. And the kids could use their dry erase markers to put some answers on them. It was very functional. You can fit so much more. The one that I used for travel in my last few schools, when I was traveling between schools, got very well worn out and used. It held games for me. I could change it out, and it was very nice, and it tucked away nicely in a little closet. So that's one thing, and it held plenty of dry erase markers of multicolor. Then I got to where I did a lot of storytelling. I loved having storyboards, and not all the classrooms had storyboards, so having Velcro characters didn't always work. So I created my own that I could travel. Voila, Monsieur Moustache. Monsieur Moustache has been a character of mine for over a decade in stories and little play, but then I created a large Monsieur Moustache, and he had his own board. Now, it became very functional. I used both sides of it. I actually ended up creating another board for story time that has the little story of the house that Jack built, but in French, of course, or in Spanish, that depended on the school I was at. I guess that's her favorite. These are cardboard folding. You can use the boards that are used for science fair or presentations, of course. What I did was I took contact paper and I measured it out, cut it, and I pulled the little tab off and stuck it on, and then used colorful duct tape on both of my boards to create a nice visual. And it made sure that the contact paper, which is usually what you find to put inside drawers or in your shelving in your home, but the contact paper I've had this board for many years, 6 years or more. The heat isn't always kind to it if it gets stuck out in the garage, but a little duct tape never hurt anybody. So this one is a little larger, and it's recycled from the cardboard that the large paper pads that teachers use to do writing examples and writing activities with their students. They come in these large boxes. Once you take them out, you are left with this nice storyboard box. And of course you can leave it and just use it as storage, but it's always nice and very aesthetically pleasing to students and to teachers, of course, to create something artistic. And I could not bring this down the hallway on my car without every student going, "Oh, Monsieur Moustache." They knew that it was a Moustache Day. It was a story or a game, an interesting, fun song, la culture. They knew Monsieur Moustache was going to show up. So the color coding really helped. So that I ended up having 2 boards because I needed to be able to use Monsieur Moustache for his units and all the parts of the units that went with him. And then La Maison que Jacques bâti, the house that Jack built, kind of grew into its own animal as well, so to speak. And I also did use one of the large notepads that the teachers had. There was an extra, and I used that to do poetry and story time, and wrote and illustrated them out so I could have a large board story. Of course, as languages, we don't always have those. But it's nice to be at home and allow your students to create, or your children to create their own storyboard, and with colored paper, with Velcro, felt, and Velcro. Velcro is very important. You can see maybe how, and I try not to make it too noticeable because I didn't want it to distract. I just wanted it to be functional. So I had strips of Velcro. You can find these in fabric stores. You can find them in superstores. Sometimes the dollar store has them. They come both sides, in white, black. You can also find the little tiny dots. It was great. So you have both sides, you can see. But it was great. They stick on the back. So, so I just peeled them off and I stuck them on. And one side on the board and the other side on whatever I needed to use it for, which much of the time was my little puppets for story time. Monsieur Moustache, Mini Moustache. He can be pulled off of my little stick for the puppets, and this way the kids could use it, but they could also stick him where he needs to be. See, he has the opposite sticky side. And then I can put him right back on and put him away very easily. I have more puppets to go with a song and a story and a unit. And with them, I would add little paper bags with the little sticky Velcro so that I can stick them up, and I can also unstick the characters and stick them next to, and we could do match games. The students could come up to my board, but if you're at home, you have your own board for your student to have manipulatives at home, telling the story or listening to the story, interacting with the story at home, or just with you, or just on their own, playing with their vocabulary words, playing with their items, with their math. It's very good for math as well, or science, any of your subjects. Putting vocabulary words wherever they need categorizing. I would take Monsieur Moustache off and put categories and the labels up here. And so many other things. I actually have a whole theater for Monsieur Moustache and my little characters who do a little song and dance. And then you can find these. I found them at the dollar store. I found them in the dollar bins at Target. I have quite a few of these, even Teacher Store, so that Mr. Mustache could say something. Sorry, Mr. Mustache. I created a title for him up there. And I had part of the theater, so I would take him down and I put the curtains up, and it has the sides to the curtains. And he has trees. He has props for theater as well. I have my own whiteboard that I use for my videos, but also I used it in the classroom because I had to travel along. I had a cart that had a large whiteboard, but it was nice to have a small one just to be able to be quick about it, about my changes or my word, or just counting, because so much of language. If you are with students or children or of age to have calendar, you can create your own calendar, laminate if you want or not, and weather, so you can practice, and you can Velcro it and stick it on up as well. I have little weather cards even that have the little Velcro sticky, so that we can play match to vocabulaire, or just match to clothing, les vêtements. Also, if you want to put things away in plastic baggies, you can use your little clips and clip them at the top. You see I have a large clip up here when I close them up, but these little clips or medium clips also help clip in organization, and it sticks up there. You see I have my Sharpie, I have Mr. Mustache, my copies that I have, and I have my little notes in here. I would put my little sticky notes and my little people as well. And then when I open it up, voila, I have all what I need, and it traveled with me, and I could close it up. It was easy. I can stick it in between, when I'm in my office, I could stick it between my desk and the wall. I could stick it under my desk. I could stick it in my closet when I bring it home for the summer. I would stick it in a closet, or stick all of them in the closet. So just a little teacher hack idea for those of you who are maybe trying to jump in with both feet at the beginning of the school year. So many changes, but it also is something that you can use forever and ever. It's once I started using these storyboards, kind of became addicted, and they just grew. They became so helpful for me, and the kids, like I said, the kids absolutely loved it. And having the box full of goodies to be able to bring around, or just have for your students to pull out if you want to do a language corner. The box is great if you are interested in having a language corner in your classroom, or if you're interested in having a storyboard and you just don't have the time, or you're just not quite sure, or you would like a storyboard ready-made. If you're here in the Valley in Arizona, let me know. Send me an email at kristenmartel73@gmail.com, or leave a comment, and I will bring one to you wherever you are. I'd rather not try to send this large of items, and I know how important it is. It was a lifesaver for me in my classrooms. I know that my students loved it. I would put it down on the carpet and let them play. Let them play with the farm animals, let them play with the little puppets, let them do the match game. It was so wonderful. So if your students are at home, this is a great way for them to be interactive. If you're at home and trying to teach on Zoom, this is a great way to keep their attention, and a great way for you to not let your, I know as a teacher it kind of takes over. I have a couple closets of teaching equipment, and I've even purged some of them. So I understand, but this way, I had one almost for every unit. I would just trade out the items, and it made it very useful and very practical. So let me know. I hope I helped you with some ideas. You can put Velcro on anything you need. I had my dry erase markers with Velcro, so I could stick them up there and the students could come and write, or I could just write for them. It was It's multi-purpose, it's endless, the ideas. So I hope I helped you a little bit. Let me know if I can help you. And there's your teacher hack for today. Ciao.